the last few years, former Geils Band founders Magic Dick and Jay Geils have performed in a band called Bluestime. The band is heavily guitar and harmonica based and focuses on Chicago-style blues. A while back, the band was touring through the province where we caught up with Dick and the man himself, Mr. Jay Geils, who tells us a bit about the history of the band.
Bluestime formed in September of '92, I believe it was. I had returned from a fun trip to Holland, during which I was fronting a Dutch blues band. And I had a great time doing that, touring around all around Holland for a month. I was invited to play over there by a friend of mine and hosting several parties, and it was really great fun. And when I got back, I called up Jay. I said, "Hey Jay, guess what I've been doing? I got the feeling for this thing. What do you think? You want to
And I said, yeah!
That's the stuff you gotta watch.
Dick says the band's material is based around their early influences.
See, when Jay and I started playing music together back in 1960, we started playing Chicago-style blues. That was the music that actually brought us together. And so for Bluestime, we've returned to those roots. And those roots were actually sort of half the roots of the Geils Band. And the other half being, I suppose you could say, sort of like rhythm and blues from sort of the Apollo Theater era, that stuff that was brought in to us, by the influences that Peter Wolf and Seth Justman and Stephen Blatt.
That's the stuff you gotta watch for sure. She's doing you wrong. Well, that gal you love just won't treat you right. Well, that gal you love just won't treat you right.
Jay tells us Bluestime is reminiscent of the early Jay Geils Band material.
With Bluestime, we're doing Chicago-style blues and some classic jazz. The stuff that has influenced us since we were kids, really. The classic jazz influence was really the early influence. When Jay and I first met, along with Danny Klein, who was the bass player for the Geils Band, we were learning Chicago-style blues together. It was a mutual experience, a learning experience, a growth experience, and we're still playing it. We still love it.
Well, the early Geils Band was actually based in the same music. As a matter of fact, it was originally called the Geils Blues Band. And then we eventually dropped that because we started doing original material. But it's all from the same roots. It's the great black musical heritage of America that, for whatever reason, just hooked us. And we've been hooked ever since.
I asked the guys what they thought of young blues rock guitarists such as Johnny Lang and Kenny Wayne Shepherd.
We support any young artists who are attracted to blues, playing blues. I support them all because, I think that the fact that they're young, they have a lot ahead of them in terms of knowledge and exposure to, the greatest of the blues players. And I find eventually that, all people who are attracted to playing blues grow a great deal as they learn to play more and more.
And they learn more about the history of the music, because it's a great American story. I think one guy we've had contact with who's probably, at least in my experience, one of the better guys who honors the history of it is Mike Welsh. He used to be called Monster Mike. Now it's just Mike Welsh. He can play, and he really kind of understands, the history, the heritage of it. I'm not sure everybody else does, but I don't know.
That gal you love, please don't you make no change.